What is up, YouTube? It's Grinch, and this is the fourth video of a 5-part series that I'm doing on some of the first ever Lego dinosaurs that we got way back in 2001. It has been more than 20 years since these Lego sets came out, so I thought it'd be fun to take a look back at each set and then rank them overall. Today, we're going to take a closer look at the Styracosaurus set. As you can see, this is everything that is included in this set. The instructions are quite simple, and it's one oversized double-sided sheet that includes a unique playmat print on the back, as well as instructions on how to make the basic body of the dinosaurs, which is the same through every single one of these in these series, as well as how to make the 4 different variations that came in this one set. It's also worth noting that you can only build one dinosaur at a time with all the pieces that are included, so without buying a total of 4 sets, you cannot build all 4 of them at once. We're going to take a closer look at them one at a time. Let's take a look at all this combination. Here is the main build on the front of the set, the Styracosaurus. This is actually a pretty darn good build in my opinion, and pretty close to almost perfect for this system anyways. If you watch my other videos in this series, you'll know that there's a recurring theme with this system of building, and that it really hinders the overall accuracy and look of a lot of these dinosaurs, and this is definitely no exception, but this is pretty darn good in my opinion. You can see, like others, this has some good printing on the sides as well as the legs. However, this set includes a really cool head mold with some of the additional printing on top of the head, which looks great in my opinion. Like the other sets, it lacks eye printing too, which is definitely a drawback, but every single one of these sets is lacking eye printing, so it's not one thing against this set versus another set. It's just overall a lack of, an issue with the system. I do think though that the back legs included here are a little bit too tall. Again, I understand that the system, these were the legs that they had to use, but it definitely kind of makes it look like it's tipping over. It just looks a little bit odd in my opinion, but I understand that they were limited here. However, this is definitely a really strong main build. Up next is the Triceratops, and this is probably one of, if not the strongest second build, Spinosaurus. You can see it moves the horn pieces over, and that's really about it. It just kind of slides 2 of them down here to make it look different, but otherwise it's reusing the same exact build from the Styracosaurus, and I'm totally okay with that. I did quickly want to compare this though to the most recent Triceratops that we got, and I can't say how much more I appreciate the newer ones now after looking at these two. Lego has come a really long way. The head is just much better. The legs, the body shaping, specifically that body shaping, wow, it's just so much better overall. It just sits better in the legs too. Can articulate all the legs, whereas with this one, the leg movement is pretty limited to the system. If you do move these legs out too much, they do fall out pretty easily. So overall though, Lego has changed a lot over the years, and this is just a view that you can have to appreciate these newer ones that we've gotten compared to the ones of the past, although this was a really good first attempt overall. Up next is the Ketosaurus, and this is another really good secondary build, and I think the Styracosaurus set has the best supporting cast overall as far as builds go. In terms of accuracy, my one issue with these additional builds here is that they're really not very different from each other. The Ketosaurus, it's just you pulled off the 2 horns from that Triceratops, so there's just not a lot difference here, right? Overall, there's just a horned dinosaur, but accuracy-wise, these are very good. These are excellent, but diversity-wise, they're just kind of the same dinosaurs with a few horns moved around, so that definitely hurts us overall. Technically, there should be some more detailings around the side of the head, but again, that's a super nitpick. Overall, I think this represents the dinosaur really well, other than the fact that it's just so similar to the other ones that we got in this set. Lastly, we have the Ketosaurus, and this is by far the worst of the 4 builds from the set. The neck is just way too short, as well as the tail. It should really be, longer, almost like that Diplodocus that we saw earlier in part 1. But I'm sure Lego didn't want to include all the pieces to build that here, because otherwise you would just buy this one set, and then you'd have kind of 2 very different dinosaurs. However, I do think they could have made this slightly different from that Diplodocus and maybe included something unique here to give this build something better. Again though, just like with the other 3 in the set, all that's changed here now is the head. So it's almost like we've been taking off horns from this set from each variation, and now some we just attached a different neck and face. But it's still that same small legs up front, large legs in back and tail. So overall, again, the diversity of this group is definitely lacking. The builds here all feel very similar, but the builds are all very strong on their own. For me, the first 3 builds here are great, and I like them quite a bit, and I think you could really go with any of them, but at the end of the day, the Styracosaurus here is definitely one of the strongest of the 3 builds, but it's close. Another thing that I think is really cool, I've shown this in the other videos, but wanted to show it here, is the top of the container has studs on it, so you can stick the dinosaur to the top and use it as a display stand, which is a really, really cool touch. You just don't see this in Lego anymore. I do appreciate this system of dinosaurs a lot. It looks really cool, in my opinion. To be able to build 4 different dinosaurs from one set is a cool idea, but it definitely has its limitations. And I think comparing that Triceratops to what we're able to get now really makes me appreciate the new, more unique molds that we get from Lego, the more specialized molds that we get from Lego a lot more than what we had in the past. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, subscribing, and joining in the conversation in the comment section below. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the final part.